This One's Wife, Snowbi 1 in Paris. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This One's Wife has turned up in Paris, clad in an all-white outfit with black shoes. She looked like she had become Snowbi 1 Griftobi, an unusual addition to the Star Wars universe. As reported by the Daily Mail, this One's Wife cut a stylish figure on Saturday as she was pictured in Paris for Fashion Week, making her first visit to Europe in more than 2 years. The Duchess of Sussex was all smiles. Well, was she? More about that in a separate video, as she was seen leaving her hotel on her way to the Balenciaga show in the French capital. Yes, partnering up with Balenciaga. More about the controversy involving that brand in a separate video. So, hold on your comments in that regard until you've seen the next one. Apparently, it was her first trip to Europe since the 2023 Invictus Games, which took place in Düsseldorf, Germany. It would appear that she doesn't have any concerns in relation to her safety and security by travelling to a fashion show in Paris. Accordingly, this One's Wife deems that it's okay for her to travel to Paris, but not to London, as a consequence of supposed security concerns. Interestingly, London has a lower homicide rate than Paris. There's not too much in it, but it is lower. In London, the homicide rate is 1.2 homicides per 100,000 residents. In Paris, it's a little bit higher at 1.4. Hardly particularly high rates in either instance. The crime rate in Paris is described as mid to high, which is on the higher side compared to other major European capitals. But we all know, of course, that it isn't really a concern about crime that keeps her away from London and the United Kingdom. It is her narcissism, which deems that the UK is too hostile a place as a consequence of the perception of a hostile populace, hostile royal family, and a hostile media. And it's dressed up as security concerns for the purposes of 1. Getting the taxpayer to pay for security, thus residual benefit. 2. The potential access to information by virtue of receiving internationally protected person status, another residual benefit. And 3. The fact that this One's Wife always wants a large security detail compared to many people that don't have them, who are just as famous as she is, because naturally as a narcissist she needs to be seen and noticed, and turning up in a 4 SUV cavalcade with blacked out windows and sirens and men getting out, putting their fingers to their ear, etc., with beefy bodyguards all around her, makes her feel important and attracts attention, which means she receives fuel. Once again, her hypocrisy is demonstrated by the readiness by which she travels to Paris, claiming that she can't visit London for security concerns. It's utter horse shit. The Mail continues by explaining she was snapped wearing a stylish white oversized cape over a white button-down shirt with matching trousers. Once again, whilst I understand that the purpose of these fashion shows is for the models to be wearing, quite frankly, ridiculous ensembles, which most people wouldn't actually purchase themselves unless they're newly moneyed Koreans, for example, or that they've received the money from an oligarch. The fact is that this One's Wife, she isn't a model, she hasn't the height or the figure to do so, believes that she is, and she turns up with her all-white ensemble, which quite simply is a mess. And there are people who have a better understanding of fashion that will be able to critique it, but I can see that it doesn't look very good, and my immediate thought was that she's auditioning for Star Wars as Snowbi 1 Griftardo. It apparently was her very first appearance at Paris Fashion Week, and naturally she needed to ensure that everybody was aware that she had attended. Thus, back grid are on hand to ensure that photographs are taken of her as she leaves the hotel, that as she's seen meeting other people, more about that in a later video, and this then gets splashed around the world. Naturally, it works. Across mainstream media and also in relation to social media, there is plenty of traffic in respect of this appearance. There are those saying how beautiful she looks, how cool she is, the supporters observing in that regard. Then the detractors who recognise that she doesn't look particularly good, that once again she's all about seeking the attention, etc. But either way, she's getting it. Plenty of fuel for this one's wife from tertiary sources, commenting below the line, reading about her, commenting on social media, and once again she gets the fuel that she so desperately craves. Some of it pure positive fuel from her supporters, others of it challenge fuel from her detractors. Apparently, crowds had gathered outside this one's wife's hotel in a bid to catch a glimpse of the royal. Naturally, that's something that she would be relishing. But Prince Harry was nowhere to be seen, as his wife was flanked by security who escorted her to a waiting car. As will be seen in a separate video, her pimp came with her on this trip, Marcus Anderson. Harry decided against it. Maybe that he has to stay back because he needs to look after the littles, or that he just decided, for Sean, you can fuck that sky high, or probably most likely that this one's wife decided that she didn't want the ginger scruff in the way because once again she needed to make it all about her. The fact is that previously they've said the couple always likes to make sure that either mum or dad is at home to put the kids to bed, but we know that's not the case because they went to Colombia without the children. And they both went to Nigeria without the children. And they've made frequent trips to Canada and also to New York without the kids. So the facade that this one's wife likes to generate by suggesting that they always like to ensure that either mum or dad is at home to put the kids to bed is baloney. Perhaps this one's wife spent time creating a video, reading a book to them, as she apparently claims that she does. Thus, this one's wife turns up and wanders around, and she's seen in a white outfit and then had an outfit change, stepping out in a black gown, which had one arm exposed. In that gown, that's probably amongst one of her less crap appearances. But is it all doing her any good? Well, viewing it from the narcissistic perspective, it allows her to assert control over the audience because she's prominent. She is, as I mentioned earlier, receiving plenty of fuel as a consequence of her appearance. Much of it is challenge fuel, but there's also a substantial amount of pure positive fuel. On X, for instance, there were plenty of accounts commenting favourably in that regard, which will naturally please her. Let's have a quick look below the line at the Daily Mail to see if there's any improvement with regard to her stock there. Straight to the comment writes, "What the fuck is she wearing? That cape thing isn't even the same shade as the badly cut loose hanging suit." W2F 5001, "Stylish. She looks like she's just got out of the shower." Eagle Mimosa note, "And wrapped the shower curtain around herself." Claire, "She looks like she was changing the bed sheets and then popped them on for the Fashon show." Mittens, "Look at the name at the bottom of the photo. The company mentioned sets up shots with the celeb and they split the money from selling it to the media. She's been doing it forever. No pap would seek her out, so she has to set them up." Jumper Bamboo Asiajo, "I think the marriage is under strain. That's why this one's wife and Harry are travelling separately a lot." Mist on the Sea, "I think even Harry has standards and refused to travel with her wearing that." Vinny44, "Looks like she just got out of bed and dragged the sheets with her." Adams Cellofield, "Ridiculous, weird outfit." Sarah Louis, "Desperate, iced out of Hollywood, now trying her luck in France. That outfit is atrocious." And that observation probably carries some force, that desperate to be part of the A-list in the United States, and she has roundly failed, she's now trying to insert herself into the A-list's attendance at Paris Fashion Week. She turns up, such as her prominence and notoriety. It gets noticed across social media and mainstream media, which is what she wants. So she succeeds in that. Is there anything more to it than simply attending for the purposes of being noticed? Probably not. Maybe she might be sniffing around for that residual benefit of undertaking some kind of partnership, but it's not going to succeed as a consequence of the various failures that I've reported on previously. This is simply a trip whereby she wants to be noticed. She wants to be involved by being seen with the fashion industry because she believes that she is fashionable. She wants to be seen because that enables her to assert control, to draw fuel. There's the character trait acquisition of being seen in and around prominent fashion designers and A-listers that are in attendance, because in her deluded mind, those are her kind of people. It's part of her narcissism that she believes that she's only really there to fraternize with successful, talented individuals. You lot, the proles, the pores, you only matter so much as in regard giving her money and the provision of fuel, but she doesn't want to actually spend time with you because you are beneath her. Thus, Snowbi 1, Griftobi, turns up in Paris. And in forthcoming videos, I'm going to be looking at the Balenciaga disgrace of her involvement and also how she thinks she's a model. Watch out for those videos coming later today. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.